we got high in the lobby. And I don't really like any of these units. Both Clock and AM are kind of fine. If you're that kind of person, Ogre is probably also fine. I think I'll just take the Clockwork, because he's more reliable value than AM. If I had more respect for the opponents in this lobby, then taking AM would have been better, because AM functions as sort of a soft counter to like the ridiculous sustain of the like early game Druid core with the Enchantress and Treant, since you can just put him off to the side to snipe the Windstreaker's Treant, and the Windstreaker usually doesn't have the ability to respond to a specific player's positioning. Okay, we'll just do this. Most of the time, if I end up in this sort of a start, I'm not gonna end up playing demons, but I will leave myself open to it.
Let me help you.
And like most of the time, even if I end up finding a bunch of demons, then I will suddenly be playing something else by around 13 or 15, because the game just suddenly gives me a bunch of other stuff that I would rather be playing, or it just doesn't give me enough AMs and TBs to actually commit for it. So let's see. Oh, yes, he's also doing the same thing. A lot of people have pairs here. Like, there's a Tusk pair, the Clock pair, Tiny pair. And this guy has an Ogre pair. I guess he might be hoping to hit a 2-star Ogre to go with his sacrificial 1-star Warlock, which, like, it would be a pretty ideal Bloodbound opener. Unfortunately, that entire faction is pretty much a meme. So I need to be able to take these pairs. And I'm not sure that I can actually value this AM over the Axe pair, even with the Strange Bedfellows. The other option would be to value this Axe pair over either Tiny or Enchantress, which seems unreasonable to me. Since, like, Enchantress and Tiny are probably the two best units in the game for the first 10 rounds. And I also think that draw power is worth more to me than an Axe pair. So I'm just gonna end up selling off the AM, unless I run into a second Bedfellows, in which case I'll have to reevaluate the situation and probably just force demons. Fortunately, I didn't run into a second Bedfellows, but instead I got axe buff item. Unfortunately, the axe didn't actually get any kills, but that's life. So playing 3 warriors here is fine. It's like not the best warriors, but it's also not the worst. Which means like this is sort of a middle of the pack start. I could also, if I was in that kind of a mood, I could also consider just selling out of everything and taking an open forge start, then force rolling for 2-star Juggernaut or Beastmaster on round 12ish. Oh, what a name, Garth. So this dude has exploding mechs. There's not much more to say about that. It's like an early game centric idea. It doesn't do all that much. That's that. But like the exploding mechs will probably carry him until round 13 to 15 somewhere. Or until he runs into somebody that high rolls like a 2-star Windrunner or something. With 3 hunters. X2 is great. I guess Luna is my best splash DPS here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can't actually make interest here. And I do value the pair over the timber saw. Then if I win the round, I can grab the timber. And if I don't win the round, then I don't want to sell anything for this dude. Especially since I am in Fortune in Battle, and I kind of prefer to just focus on my economy and give myself the option to actually roll for Juggernauts and Beastmasters at a fairly early point. Yo, mad bro. I have already sold my AM. And going into demons is generally not something that you can force, it's something that the game has to give to you. And with Hoy being in something similar with his AM, I don't really want to contest that. So I can level up here if I want to. It will harm my economy significantly though. I think it's better to just sell out of these pairs. Go something like this. Then just say that it doesn't matter if I win or lose too much, I just want to be reasonably strong and develop my economy early. Oh, this enchantress is gonna die without getting... No? I thought she would die under the axe call, but I guess level 1 axe call is very short. Not sure.
Don't give up.
I mean, I am not a huge fan of playing demons. I think, like, I prefer being able to win games. I don't like playing for second. I feel like it's kind of weak. Then, as much as I would like to go to 20 gold, I don't want to get rid of all of my pairs because, like, I do need something to work with. I guess I can put the Juggernaut like this. And I guess it's fine to pick up these units. So I will be beating this player. His board is looking pretty weak. Or at least I think I should be beating him. Might get pretty tight. And it's right for me to pick up these units before the next round as well. So I'll just overflow the drows and
The ones who live will never
put them on the board.
forget me.
A 2-star drow is pretty good. 2, 4, 7. So if I just sell out of some stuff, like, I don't need this tusk, I don't need this dude. And I can just maintain this board for the round, and then I can buy all of these 3 units that do have good value for me moving forward. Especially since I have Forged in Battle, the Drow does gain a significant amount of value because I know that most likely I will be interested in playing Beastmaster, which means a 3 Hunters is a natural pairing, and I do also know that if I am in a Beastmaster, then I need to have Heartless to get the most out of him. And I guess I can just hold on to this Slark. Like, I might end up playing a random Slark too, but it's kind of unusual to end up with that. So the Sniper and the Abaddon are both fairly interesting units. I guess at this point, kind of don't want to sell out of the Tinies. can sell out of the Witch Doctors and take out the Enchantress. Yes, if I position something like this, I should have looked for Assassins when I intend to play the Chow. And I don't want to put her directly behind the front line because she'll get randomly focus fired by like Shadow Fiends and shit. Which, like, it doesn't even make sense, but that's just how it goes. So, there's no way that I win this fight, but I'm not losing a lot of health. And my economy is still in a great spot. And I have like a fair amount of development potential immediately. Unfortunately, I don't have a Beastmaster just yet, and I don't have a Pudge either. A Pudge would be a great upgrade for my warriors, since I would rather have 3 warriors than 2 warriors. That's pretty obvious. Then, guess I don't really. I'm just gonna sell out of this Abaddon, to be honest. Like, as much as I like having Heartless, I also like having money. And I don't want to sell out of my Druids, I don't want to sell out of my Tiny Pair, and I really don't want to sell out of my Sniper, so it was the only reasonable way that I could make 30 here. And I guess just holding on to these units is fine. I'll move the Sniper over here, since he's kind of more relevant than the rest of them. Fall from Grace is fine. It means I can play something like a Lycan to hit my Heartless. It's not that great in my current position, but I will be able to find value in it for sure. So 2, 3, 5, 7. But if I'm in Fall from Grace, then I will probably be looking to cut my Tinies, which I don't mind doing immediately. Like, it'll lose me some value for this round, but
Smart choice.
next round I can just put in a Slardar for 3 warriors. I am soon at the point where I can start force rolling for a Beastmaster. Oh, this Gerther fellow has a whole bunch of 2 stars. Oh, he's been rolling like a madman. He only has 6 gold and he's basically on a full win streak. So I think he's rolled probably 5 to 7 times. And like it's basically game losing for him to lose runs here. Guess, how do I even do this? Guess I... Okay, if I had figured this out faster, it would have been pretty nice, but I could actually just have taken something like 2 or 3 rolls here. As much as this dude did, no. I think it's going overboard, and it's basically all in on the idea that he'll be win streaking, which he clearly wasn't, because he did lose the round immediately after. And I think rolling a bit can be fine. For example, I could have rolled on 9 or 11, looking for works, but it's just a little bit more stable to do it, to wait until you have 50 gold. And now I suddenly got a free power spike by the game. It was really kind of it. So I can take one more roll here. The Pudge is massive. Then I can put in this dude, can level up. Can sell out of these 1, 2, 3, 4. So I shouldn't be losing this round, and I don't mind selling out of the Sniper. Since, like, at this point, I have a good way to just play the game without needing to force myself into Fortune Battle. Like, I'm just happy playing a 2-star Enchantress with a 1-star Lone Druid and pushing levels, basically. Guess holding on to the Sanking is fine. It would be pretty neat to find something like a Lycan at this point, but it's not mandatory. And also, I feel a little bit bad about selling off my earlier tusks when I end up in this sort of a situation, but it's definitely not the end of the world. So here's a Beastmaster. Actually, I can take a couple of rolls here because I did. Oh, well done. Beastmaster Dream, dead. I have a new dream. It was given to me by the game. It involves playing Lone Druid and Troll Warlord. So it's not clear exactly what I'll end up in, but I'll probably end up in 2 to 4 beasts with 2 druids and like 2 to 4 heartless and a random amount of warriors and a random amount of hunters. Probably I'll end up in 3 warriors, 3 hunters with like a boatload of auxiliary synergies, which like it'll be nice. So not 100% sold on this, but like I'll try it. Basically, I think I might end up playing this Sanking if I can 2-star it. I'm not a huge fan of Sanking because he's like he can be a real dumbass with his stun, to be honest. When he stuns and he actually makes the nice stuns, then he's of course an amazing unit, but I feel like half the time he'll have a blob of units, like a box of units like this, then he'll be here and he'll stun over here hitting 0 enemies. But if he goes against me, he'll stun through and hit like everything aside from these 2 units. Really, really fucked up unit is Sanking. And it's fine to just hold on to these random units. Because if I do find something like a couple of dead options and Final Flash, I really don't mind taking the Razor. I guess Octarine Essence is probably my take here. I'm not a huge fan of Arcane Boots if I'm not in Mage. And at this point, I can just sell out all the Razors. I don't necessarily need the Spare Enchantress. Since usually I'll be cutting her before she's relevant anyway. Or I'll be cutting her before the 3-star is relevant anyway. And I can just put this thing on the Enchantress. Maybe she can get 2 ults off in some fights. So for the next round, I should be putting in the Troll Warlord. Unless I can 2-star the Beastmaster, then of course I'll be just putting in the Beastmaster. And if I do manage to 2-star the Beastmaster, I should also be trying to put in a 3rd Hunter. And I don't mind rolling down a little bit here, probably until 30 or so. Just looking for general upgrades and stuff. Wait. Damn, I am actually a little bit pay right now. I had a casual jug. I thought I had a jug too, and that was a spare jug, but it was actually a doom or a jug that I needed to use to build a bigger jug. But at this point, jug is kind of dead to me. And I don't even think I need to roll down that deep. I can just go to 40 here. I can play the Kank over the Pudge since like it's the same for the Heartless Synergy. So I stopped for a second before buying the Doom, so I got 40 gold interest rather than the 30 gold interest. My positioning is slightly off. Like, this lone droid should be a little bit more exposed. So he actually gets out the bear a little bit earlier, since the bear is a large source of DPS. He's got 172 DPS. He randomly snatched stuff. It's really good. Like, it's like putting a Doom 1.5 on the field. So maybe I should be positioned something like this. Oh, I should have also taken that Alchemist. That was a pretty bad mistake. And I can take a couple rolls here. This Beastmaster is interesting, this Sniper is interesting. Yes, just sell out of these fellows. Then I overflow this Lycan when the run starts. So I'm in some sort of vague Hunter, Warrior, Heartless Beast, Druid sort of comp, but it'll all make sense when I get some more 2-stars. Like, it'll make sense of itself for me. I don't even need to make sense of it. Like, it'll just fix itself.
Were they even trying?
I can actually be in 4 Heartless at the moment. I would like to have some stuff consolidating. So goodbye, guys. You can go to the bench, you can go to the bench. And I don't necessarily need Sniper. 1, 2, 3. Guess if I go like this, I'll have 4 Heartless, which should give me
So you think
better
they could
DPS.
beat us?
Unfortunately, this will also mean that I need to sell out on my axe at this point. And then I should just head towards level 8 on run 21. I don't need to roll anymore. I can probably actually almost bomb rush level 9 at this point, because I have so many developed units. Oh, this
As if there was
sniper should also go. But at the same time, I have these 4 high impact pairs, so maybe I just go to level 8 and roll down a bit, then see what sticks. And it's a little bit awkward to be in 3 beasts, but I don't have a good way to play 4 beasts right now, and I can't really cut either of the druids, since they're so high value right now. Once I get Lone Druid 2, and maybe when I reach level 9, I can consider cutting the Enchantress just to fit more stuff in, but I think for now I can't really cut her. And like for the short term, say the next 3 to 6 rounds, I probably won't be able to cut her either. And then it just feels nice also if I hit the 2-star Lone Druid to have the ability of, oh, so this is actually an actual difficult choice, because Relic on Dusa is busted, and I don't have a damage item. But a higher class of criminal is also pretty busted. So I forgot to actually click an item and I got Final Flash. So that's a slight downgrade compared to what I could have had. I guess I can just put in the Dusa. No, it's better to put in the Troll at this point, because I don't have a damage item for her. If I on the other hand had the Relic, then the Dusa would be significantly better than the Troll Splash, since he's not really completing warriors for me, and I don't have a Witch Doctor or Batrider to turn on his local attack speed. He's kind of not that good. He's alright, but not amazing. His Doomfellow, however, is pretty cool. Necro is a pretty amazing unit. So my lineup is about to get a little bit more confusing, but I still believe that my lineup will self-correct to make sense at some point. It's just not quite yet.
You're gonna win. I know.
And I don't mind holding on to like a boatload of gold on my bunch. I can let my economies start recovering now, or start to recover rather. It was some really poor grammar for me, but like just letting my economy recover at this point while maintaining all of these high impact pairs would mean that like I have really good odds of improving my board passively while I'm getting back up to 50 gold. Then like if anything just becomes hit, then I can look to cut out a couple more things. And since I'm a little bit overflowed here, I can take a couple of rolls, but not too many. I can do one more, but no, I can do one more just because I'm cutting the Witch Doctors. Since I did hit the Witch Doctors now, it might actually be wrong for me to keep the droids at this point. So, for the next run, probably the idea is going to be to get out of the droids. Then, like, my economy looks really weak, but it's not that weak because I have a lot of gold tied up in units right now. No, I was actually slightly punished because I hit too much. If I had just hit the Dusa, I could have immediately sold out to the Witch Doctors and made sense of this. So... okay. Guess doing this, and this probably makes the most sense. Don't like it though. I wish I had another hunter to put in, but setting out the troll does make sense 100% of the time here. Guess I'm just fine playing this for now. Then I can probably squeeze in the Necro at some point. The Witch Doctor, like, it was a mistake to combine the Witch Doctor at this point, since I can't really cut this Lycan after I upgraded him. Oh, this bear has too far of a distance to walk to actually beat the Terrorblade. That's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, DMCD. Have you never experienced like high rolling so hard that it's literally impossible to win? It's one of the worst feelings. I guess holding on to more Dooms is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And I guess I don't necessarily need to be playing this dude. I guess if I can 2-star the Necro, I would like to play him over the Pudge 2-star. And a 1-star Necro is probably just better than a 1-star Pudge since I'm not actually hitting any other synergies out of him. Which case, I can retain like this Lone Droid and my potential Spare Doom. I can also... I mean, the game is just trying to give me a higher class of criminal. Maybe this time I actually take it. I think I can't pass it up twice, so it's... So, I've been rewarded with an instant Enigma. Cancel out of these dudes and just put in this fellow. And... yes. Like... if I just sell that lady and put in this dude, it should be fine. Like, my Dusa will get a fair DPS boost out of getting 3 hunters online, and like I don't lose any like auxiliary synergy. I just lose the 2-star on the Lone Droid by taking out the Henge. This dude is an assassins with what's it called? Pocket Sand, which means he will randomly just win runs. It's to be expected. Especially since I'm not really positioned to deal with assassins. Like, this is very disrespectful towards this player. And then the general play with a higher class of criminal is to just push for level 9 ASAP while maintaining as much of an economy as possible. Which means probably my idea here is going to be to push for level 9 for level 29, which means I'll need to spend 35 gold, and basically I'll lose 1 interest pushing it, but since I'll get a couple of rolls, it's probably worth it. But I should wait with actually pressing the button, because if I find some value 4 or 5 costs, I would like to hold on to them for when I actually make the push to 9. And then, like, if I have some valuable pairs of expensive units, I can roll down until I hit something, and then sell out of the ones that I don't feel like I'll need. If that makes sense. Like, this Lone Druid doesn't actually do anything on my board. So I'm not entirely sure why he's even there, to be honest. I can just put in, like, this Enigma. Unfortunately, I don't have HP item to put on him, but that is kind of fine. Just sell out of that card. And I will hold on to the Windrunner pair. 1-star Sniper is better than 1-star Windrunner, because he does slightly better DPS, and like, his synergies is slightly better with the Hunter passive, but 2-star Windrunner is significantly better than 2-star Sniper. So I can just push the level now. And like, I have 16 gold that I can just free up here. Yes, I can put it off to this side, make it a little bit cleaner. I don't really want to sell out of any of this. So at this point, I don't mind selling out of that, because I get to put in the Tidehunter for my third thingy. And I'm pretty fine sitting on 30 gold here. Actually, I can go up to 40. Since I'm never getting into 6 warriors, then I might as well sell out of the troll. Especially since I know that I'm in some degree of hunters at this point, and like, I'm not gonna leave hunters when I'm in Dusa Tide with Drow for Undead. Yeah, Ninja. It was offered to me around 20, and then I just like idled out and got Final Flash instead. I had a relic and higher class of criminal. I think the relic was actually the better take, since I did have a Deuce, and I had a fairly reasonable lineup for the time, and I didn't really need to push for expensive units. Then around 25, I was offered a higher class of criminal again, so I just had to take it at that point. This dude is pretty... He's not that deeply into knights. Like, 4 knights are... like, they're not that spooky. You don't even need Enigma to deal with them, to be honest. Or any 5 costs. You can just sort of brute force your way through them. It's a different story if he has 6 knights, because like, the damage reduction scaling is obscene from 4 to 6. Guess I could technically hold on to that dude. This dude is pushing for level 10. I think it's probably fine to take Vicious Intent here. Like, Hunter's Focus, it looks like it might do something, but it doesn't actually do anything. Since I'm only realistically playing 2 Hunters. Tidehunter is, like, he's a hunter in name only. So that Enigma is pretty good to hit. Guess. Is there any undead I can replace? Yeah, I'll replace the Lycan. Then I feel fairly fine just hanging out on 30 gold for a bit. Yeah, I think like higher class of criminal is the reason this meta exists. I'm not sure like why I end up in the synergy tab like so often now, but maybe it's to do something with how I move my mouse around. I guess like this dude can never not get Tekis bombed or Enigma'd, so I can just put them like directly behind the Kunkka. This dude has Tide 2 and Disruptor. It's a little bit spooky, but as long as like I stay a little bit away from this dude, maybe I don't proc him immediately every fight. Maybe... No! The Disruptor is too smart! Okay, it ended up fine, but that Disruptor just stood in the front line and tanked at the start of the fight. Then he cast his ability and backed off to hang out in the aura. Like, that Disruptor was actually amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, Team Knights against Legendaries is very sad times because they do play like 2-star DK with wings, and they cannot even like they don't have the option to not play it. So if I just put my shit in front of him, then there's literally nothing he can do. Like I go like this, and these two legendaries will always go off because the DK just splashes onto them. And like his team gets deleted, there's nothing he can do. That will keep happening until the end of the game, and even if he finds something like a Disruptor, he doesn't have much counterplay. I can just move my Dusa to the other corner to try to dodge it. Since like he can do the same thing that I'm doing to his DK, to my Dusa. And it's probably better if I position something like this. Actually, like this is probably ideal. Anyway, he can do the same thing that I'm doing to abuse his DK to my Dusa. If he say, if he has some random legendary, just scooting the Abaddon and the Omni Knight forward one row and putting exclusively the legendaries he wants to proc behind them, and then everything else down in a box here, then he can also just abuse my forced AoE damage. And him moving his front line forward like this is extremely beneficial for me, because it means I can just put my Kunkka here and it'll set everything up for me. Guess I can't really build another Enigma, but I would really like to. How is his DK position? So if I just scoot these dudes back, they can just walk up and do their thing. It's not that likely for me to build another Enigma, but I'm fine making one. Like, it's not really something I need, but it would be something fairly useful. Unfortunately, like, for once in my life, I did not find a refresher this round, which, like, it's an unusual experience, and, like, I'm not used to it. But usually I would find a refresher here and just put it on Enigma 2 and win the game on the spot. I'm not sure I can actually play a second Doom, so I'm not sure I actually want to take this. I think probably I have to decline Doom. Do I? Can I? I think I can just sell out to these dudes instead. Like, I'll have Doom 3 Dream Alive. Then, worst case, I'll end up paying 6 gold for it. Oh, he actually deleted my team. Faster than my Enigma could delete his team. That's a little bit surprising. Yes, he did get a Dusa too. And he does have double Daedalus. Guess maybe it's just a mistake for me to putting the Lich over another human warrior. So I will go looking a little bit. Oh. Guess at this point, like my Dusa isn't a very major part of my damage output. I don't mind going all in here. Like, this dream is just a dream, that's all there is to it. Maelstrom on Dusa is still less damage output than Radiance, unfortunately. Like, it does have an internal cooldown, meaning you'll only get off like 1 proc per second at most. Oh, that's a pretty good unit. Oh, guess I'll just have to banish my Dooms. So I'll just send my Tide to walk down this line. And I think he should be dying this round, in most cases. He would have probably died a while ago if I hadn't cut my 3 warriors. Anyway, back to the Maelstrom on Dusa. So Radiance is 60 damage per second for against like on average 4 to 5 units. Maelstrom on Dusa will on average proc once every 2 seconds due to the internal cooldown of 0.2 seconds.